didn't scare you too much. This is Extra Medium. I'm Joey Houshour, and with me, I have one of my really good friends, Steven. Steven, say what's up.
What's going on, guys?
He's from Canada, so Halloween is probably way different, and this probably has to do with some type of scarecrow creature or something. I'm not sure how they roll. But people keep asking me what Extra Medium is. Extra Medium is a way for me to be creative without really having to do things creatively. It's kind of a cop-out, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to draw, so I don't want to be an artist. I didn't want to make paintings, hang them in the Louvre, or, the Smithsonian. I do know how to play the bass, but I didn't want to be on my Kurt Cobain stuff, and I didn't want to be Bruce Springsteen or the E Street Band. So, I think the next best thing for me to do was just to be able to talk shit on wavelengths, on audio frequencies into your cerebellum, and they would get lodged in there. You can listen to my voice. So we're trying this. I might say 1,000 times. This is my first time doing something like this. That was twice, so I have 998 to go. And this first episode we're gonna do is it's gonna be about Halloween. Since we are in late October. My mother was a single mother at the time when I was five-ish, and she kind of let me do whatever I wanted. When it came to watching stuff, there was no parental controls on my television. I could watch anything, really, except for porn, because I don't think the internet was a thing yet, and I think that it was still dial-up. And, I just wasn't interested in porn yet. So, rated R movies was the most hardcore thing I would do. I couldn't think of a more perfect time of the year to do for our first show. So Steven, what would be one of your first memories or your best memories of Halloween?
Best memories of Halloween. Okay. Well, let me think about that for a second. Excuse the dog.
That's not a dog. That's not a dog. That's the ghost with the chains on him from that Christmas story with the Scrooge. That's what that was.
So, Halloween memories. Probably first thinking of what I wanted to be. And usually that was one of the classic monsters, like Wolfman or Dracula, Frankenstein, whatever, when I was really young. But probably my favorite was just getting into character and just going out and just pretending to be the Wolfman or pretending to be Dracula.
So what you're telling me is that you were the Marlon Brando of children.
Exactly.
As a method actor, you would spend hours in your room becoming the character who you wanted to be.
It was a transition into character.
Right. No, that definitely makes sense to me. I was that as well. And, because I was able to watch all these movies, I had different inspirations. So while other kids were, being football players or something, I remember I must have been 6 years old when I told my mom I wanted to be Scream or Ghostface from the Scream movies. That was a cool one. I didn't have the whole costume. All I had was the mask, and my mom bought me a black sweatsuit. And it was hot. I live in Florida. It was fucking crazy hot. And then I remember one year I was Hannibal Lecter. I made my own bloody t-shirt. That's as far as it went. But I think the coolest story I have for costumes was back in 2008 when Heath Ledger was the Joker. Rest in peace. Jared Leto sucks. And he was huge, then, and I think he had already died, but everyone wanted to be the Joker. And I remember I was like, man, I don't want to buy one of those cheap ass fucking costumes that have the suit printed on them with the string in the back with a lame ass mask. I wanted an actual thing, but I must have been 10, so I didn't want my friends to think I was lame. So I went to go to a thrift store to maybe look for something that was dark blue or maybe a violet or a plum colored. And I kid you not, as soon as I walked into the thrift store, which was in Margate, Florida, where my grandmother lives, I found one suit. It was a purple suit. It must have belonged to some type of pimp, maybe. That's really all I could say. Maybe a church suit. But I had found that, and I had bought the what's it called? The Joker makeup kit. And the day of oh god, that's fucking gross. The day of Halloween, I put on the makeup. They had the fake scars, and it was like the fakest thing I've ever seen. So I asked to borrow my mom's lipstick, and I put it all over my face, and I put like green stuff in my hair. Anyway, that was tight. Is there anything else about like any time around Halloween that sticks out to you, Stephen Hopkins of Canada?
Halloween. Well, back when I was in Canada, my uncle, who's like a super horror buff, who like really got me into horror as a kid, like super young.
That does not mean that his uncle is buff and likes horror. It means he's a big fan.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Joey. But he used to just like, he would spook the hell out of us pretty much. He would just like walk around the house like, pretending to be like a zombie or whatever, because he showed us Night of the Living Dead, which was the first like, horror movie that I can remember watching. But he put his zombie face on, man. He just spooked us, man. Every year near Halloween, basically. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I also had an uncle who was really into horror movies. I'm not even making this up, but he used to have an executioner mask, and he used to scare the shit out of me at my grandparents' house. And he's kind of a fucking loser, but him as a like his collection of things is really cool. He actually recently gave me his Fangoria collection, so that was sick. But yeah, I've always loved Halloween or just scary things. I remember back in elementary school, I don't know if you were into this, but for me it was Goosebumps books.
Yeah, of course.
I used to buy at the book fair. They used to have the box sets of the books. And, as a kid, you don't want to read, but they did have the really, really badass covers.
Yeah.
So that made me want to read them, and I was obsessed with Goosebumps. I remember The Haunted Mask. The TV version, they had a mask in there, but they actually like mass-produced the masks for in the 90s, and I actually had my grandfather bid for one on eBay for $100 and something as like a 10-year-old, and I got the mask. It was kind of a spoiled move, but I remember wearing it and just being like, oh my god, it's so fucking hot in here. And that was the thing about, being a kid from South Florida and choosing to wear a costume on Halloween, because as soon as you put that on your face, like a mask or something like that, it would always be like spitty and gross and slippery in the inside, and you'd not even wear it for most of the time. And by the end of the night, you just had half your costume was off, so you had some type of like robe on. You look like fucking Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, but yeah, like I've always been one that didn't believe in ghosts, as cool as it is to believe. But I don't know if you remember this, but me, you, and our other friend Kai, who's a little bit of a character, there was in Boynton Beach, where I live, there was an abandoned tuberculosis hospital.
Very spooky.
And it was in the middle of the ghetto, and me, Steven, and Kai decided must have been like 12 in the morning to like, let's go check it out. We were all pumped, and I remember as soon as we got there, just the dread, the terror of this place just bathed over me, and I was like, I don't want to fucking go there anymore.
Yeah.
And I was trying to talk everyone out of it, but like I was like, Joe, don't be a bitch. There's 2 more guys that want to go. And I don't know if you remember this, but just the driveway to get in there was the scariest thing, because it was lit. Like the driveway was lit and everything else was dark. So if there was someone out there looking, they could look at us, but we definitely couldn't see them.
Exactly.
And then when we got up there, the door was locked. So I was like, oh yeah, great. I guess let's not go in there. And then Kai, who acts like he's not afraid of anything, he found a utility door that had the fire escape to get to, and we all were like, all right, so we're gonna do this. We had bats, we had flashlights, we were
loaded.
Yeah, for sure. And we were also just got out of high school, like we just graduated. It's not like we were kids, so this story would sound cooler. Like we were adults, basically. And I was like, I'm not going in there. There's probably something right there. So one of us took bats and hit the railing. And I don't know if we know, like we heard something, or one of us might have heard something and we all ran, but all I remember was one of us said, go, 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 go. And we all sprinted.
You just dipped.
I was like, Usain Bolt. And I've never run so fast in my life, but
Yes.
I stopped, and I don't know if you remember this part, but there was that weird house that had the light inside the building. So
Yeah.
I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but it's a huge fucking hospital, and there was different little buildings, almost look like little apartment complexes within the grounds of the hospital. And what would happen was there was a light that was on, and it was like kind of like going back and forth, and we all thought that was just one of the, like a street light from the other side, but like we obviously didn't go near it. But our friend Kai wanted to take a picture in front of the door, and we took a picture, and that was fine, whatever. I wanted to get the fuck out of there. And then I remember, Steven, you slept at my house that night.
Yeah.
And Kai sent us a picture, and he's like, look in the window of this picture. And the picture was him, like posing, and there was a mirror or a window. And I swear to God, I've showed this picture to so many people, and so many people have said that this definitely has to be some type of, fucking ghost.
Some type of entity.
Yeah. So, and we found out later, because we went back another time, that where that was taken was, where the picture was taken was where the children wing of the hospital was. So it was a little kid in the picture. That's what it looked like at first. And I don't even think I could sleep that day. That was like the scariest shit.
Yeah, it was
And
spooky.
Ever since then, I have to believe in ghosts, because I mean, come on. But all right, so as a kid, everyone has like a favorite candy that they're into, that they get excited for. What was your favorite candies getting from Halloween, or just candy in general?
My favorite candies. Well, I was always a huge chocolate guy, so it was anything chocolate. It was either Three Musketeers,
Yes.
Twix, never Snickers. I never liked Snickers.
I could do a Snickers.
Or just chocolate M&Ms, regular chocolate M&Ms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was really forever into the Three Musketeers. That's almost like a perfect chocolate bar. It's literally just creamy nougat, chocolate drizzled over. But you had the Milky Way, which was basically a Three Musketeers with caramel,
right?
or caramel,
Yeah.
whatever one you want to say. I think another big one for me, and a lot of people don't like them, but I fucking love Butterfingers. They're
that would be
so
on my
good.
list too. If I had a top 5, it would be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like top 5 best chocolate candies to get while Halloween. A really specific list, but I think that it would definitely be out there. And I think, Snickers are like, it's like whatever. Like it's like whatever. Like Snickers, whatever. But I will say that I fucking cannot stand dark chocolate. I think it's the grossest thing.
I can agree to that.
I mean,
For the most part,
it's like it's not even sweet. Why?
It's just,
Ew.
who knows?
I spit it. I taste it. I spit. I taste spit. I throw it out. And I would say that one of the worst things to get on Halloween was the pretzels. Did you ever get the pretzels?
You know what? I actually did not mind that.
I was not into
I don't
that.
know why. I never minded that.
I didn't know I was going to the Snyder's household to get fucking pretzels.
You do live there.
Those were awful. Will never like candy corn. What's your view on candy corn?
I always loved candy corn.
For real?
I swear.
That's so.
I haven't had it in probably like 10 years, but I remember loving it.
Okay, so you don't like it because it's been 10 years.
Yeah, if I had it now, I'd probably vomit.
It's so gross. And my mother and my grandfather love candy corn. I think it's the grossest fucking candy in the world. It's just sugar. It's gross. It's nasty. It's trash. Especially the big pumpkin ones. The big pumpkin candy corn or candy pumpkins.
I think I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
those are so awful. And they're just such an off-putting color. See, my thing, when I'm an adult, an older adult, instead of candies, instead of, anything like that, I want to give out drinks, like not like alcoholic beverages to children, but I think that like when you're a little kid walking around your neighborhood the whole time, you're so thirsty, and I always thought about giving like kids like those miniature, like even it's a Capri Sun, it's a water something. I would just be posted up in my driveway with a cooler and just be like, hey,
that'd be cool.
That would be cool. I think that the kids would like you. And
I'd be giving out like those little Kool-Aid things that you snap the top off.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, some Capri Sun, definitely.
Definitely some Capri Suns.
You'd be the fan favorite.
Yeah, but I feel like the worst person to just, like, if you were to do that, the worst thing you can do would have to be getting the natural ones. You ever have like a natural Capri Sun? Like the all 100% real juice
Never.
Capri Suns? Those are awful.
Never.
Don't even do that. Just get out of my sight. Or do you remember when people used to have the bowl outside?
Yeah.
Outside their house, it was like, please take one. Did you ever just take one?
No way.
I swear to God, I'm not making this up to sound cool. I would take the bowl, pour it into my bag or whatever, and then also take the bowl. That's how much I disrespected that sign.
Dick. I think I might have done that one time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to just do like stupid stuff during Halloween, you know, like you would ding dong ditch, or you would like curse really loud when you were a little kid, or like after you went trick or treating, I would get on my bike and just ride around the neighborhood, just be cool.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that was just like the cool thing to do as a child. I remember one of the last times I actually trick or treated. Oh my God. It's the hounds. It's the hounds from hell. Which also ties in. Yeah, oh my. No! But yeah, you know, so horror movies, I think, will always be a big part of my life. But I think that the really underrated thing about horror movies is the horror themes, or the theme, you know, when you think of a movie, you think of this certain song. So I guess if you were to think of Exorcist, you would think of dun 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 dun. Or if like what is it? Friday the 13th would be like
yeah, iconic.
So what would be some of your top horror movie themes, or, you know, just soundtracks, scores?
Okay, so you already know what one of them is.
Yes.
But I'm going to save that for last because that's my favorite.
Okay.
So I would say my favorite growing up was Halloween, hands down.
Yeah, that was on mine too.
I learned how to play on the piano, everything like that. I would just fucking
It's the
spook
best.
everybody with that shit. It was my favorite. Halloween. Another one that always spooked me out, and I used to always use it when I would like be trying to scare somebody, like late at night or something, was the theme to Dead Silence. I didn't really like the movie.
Is that the one with the dummies?
Yeah, the dummies. I didn't really like the movie.
Okay, yeah.
But the theme was spooky. If you get a chance after you watch the shit or listen to the shit, go on YouTube and listen to the Dead Silence theme.
Yeah.
And you will be spooked.
You don't have to watch the movie, just the theme.
And then my favorite, score.
Right.
I love this shit. It sets such a fucking vibe. Is It Follows. Shout out to Disaster Piece. He made an amazing score. I love that shit so much, dude.
I like that score because it's very, like, it's all synth. It's all synthesizers.
It's all electronic, yeah.
And it's like almost like, it's like 80s, and
yeah.
I think I already used this, but it almost like the synths in that score like bathe over you. They're just like, they're so powerful, if that makes sense.
Good. Yeah.
And if it doesn't make sense, you should listen to it. And if you can't listen to it, then what do you...
The chase theme
Yeah.
is so... It's just like... It's good.
Spoiler alert, someone gets chased in the movie.
Yeah, someone gets chased.
For me, I agree. I think it would definitely be Halloween. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, that's just like... That has to be the most iconic, like, horror movie score ever. And, The Omen... I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like...
Yeah.
Something similar. And then Psycho. But not only just the... There's just the like the prelude to that. Yeah, that's how the Psycho. That's how the Psycho goes. Yeah.
There you go.
That's an animal, by the way. Yeah. Alfred Hitchcock, you remember? You remember. Okay. And then I think one that goes is very underrated. I think that you would put this on your top 5 if you could redo your top 5. The 28 Days Later theme.
Oh my God, so good.
That is the freakiest thing in the world.
So good. I forgot about that actually.
And it's used in both movies so well. And I think it's during chase scenes. But That's the most, and it's like a full band. That has to be like the most unsettling, like, song I've ever heard. There's no words. Yeah, it's the Psycho one. The Psycho one. We get it.
But yeah, that theme, that's a theme right there. Like that's a top 5, top 3 probably.
So good.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll give an honorable mention to A Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't do it with my mouth. But if you looked it up, it's really good, and it's literally throughout the whole entire movie. It's really good. But you know, not only scores, but what about like just bands or artists that use like horror elements in their music? Like I could think of one would be 3 6 Mafia.
Of course.
The early stuff for sure is
Definitely.
all like super
horrorcore.
yeah. And then I guess you could say, even though I don't really care for him anymore, I guess you could say like Tyler the Creator and like
definitely.
Earl Sweatshirt, early stuff.
I think you should. Yeah.
But if you've ever listened to that recently, it's so cringy. Like it's just the lyrics, like take a pregnant bitch and fuck a pregnant bitch and tell my friends I had a threesome. Like it's so gross, and it doesn't even sound good. But top 5 favorite bands forever is the Misfits, and that's literally all they did. And if you don't know who the Misfits are, it's that skull logo that you see everywhere. You see everyone wearing it and has no idea what that band is. It's literally all their music is all horror based, you know, off of famous movies like the Universal Monsters and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think one shout out to one group that, you know, doesn't get recognized as a horror core would be the Ghetto Boys. Mm-hmm. I think they're most famous for that song "Mind Playing Tricks on Me," like. And they actually have a midget in the group. I think his name's Bushwood Bill. Anyway, all right, to the main event. We're doing it. Top 10 favorite horror movies. Now listen, this is not the top 10 greatest horror movies.
Not at all.
You know, because we could have just looked that up on the internet.
Yeah.
This is our favorite. So if you don't agree with our list, go fuck yourself and make a list, and then you give it to me.
Yeah.
Or Steven. We don't want to hear it.
But these are what means something to us.
Yeah. So you might be like, oh, well, that shouldn't be on there. Shut the fuck up. So we'll start with Steven. What's your 10th favorite horror movie?
This one's going to be a little funny, but my 10th favorite horror movie is Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd. That movie fucked me up as a kid.
The Tim Burton? The Tim Burton one?
With Johnny Depp. Yes. I loved it. I loved the music. It just fucked me up as a kid.
That's a good one.
Every time I got a haircut after that, I was like, dude, don't slice my fucking throat. Don't slice my throat and make me into meat pies, please.
Spoiler alert.
So yeah. You know,
spoiler alert.
Sorry guys, if you haven't seen it or fucking read the play or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Get on your shit. Come on.
Or just listen to the soundtrack. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think about that, but I always forget that Tim Burton made that movie. All I remember in that movie was I watched it with my grandfather in the movie theater, and Helena Bonham Carter's boobs are in a corset the whole time, and my grandpa made like a really weird comment about it, and that made me uncomfortable because it's my grandfather. Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. Okay, so my 10th is the movie Funny Games. Have you ever seen that?
Seen it.
All right, so the Funny Games is the one I'm talking about. It's made in 2007, and what's cool about that is that it's a shot-for-shot remake from a movie that was from 1997 from the same director. So the same director directed both movies shot for shot, but just made it in an American cast. And what was cool about that? Please shut the fuck up. What was cool about that is that the antagonists in the film break the fourth wall a lot. So there's a lot of like looking at the camera and winking and stuff like that. And that's definitely like a super strange movie. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. Michael Pitt's in it, who I don't think anyone remembers from. He was only in like Boardwalk Empire, and he was in that new awful Ghost in the Shell. He plays like the villain. He's in like nothing, but he's really, really good. All right, so what's your 9th?
My 9th, Dawn of the Dead.
The remake or the Zack Snyder one, or the one from the 80s?
The remake.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It might be the only good movie that Zack Snyder's ever directed.
Yeah.
Damn, that is a good one.
I love that one growing up. That was my go-to zombie movie growing up.
How about the part where like the fucking like the pregnant lady she's like infected and like the baby comes out and it's like,
oh my god, that was just like that was scarring emotionally. Yeah,
that's a really good one. Yeah.
yeah.
Literally might be the only movie that Zack Snyder has done like well, I think. I don't think he should be on any of the DC films, but that's a different story. Okay, my 9th, American Psycho.
It's a good one.
2000. Christian Bale before he was Batman.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was researching this movie. I used to be obsessed with this movie. I bought it without my mom knowing about it, but she didn't care. Lionsgate, the company that produced it, actually went after Edward Norton and Leonardo DiCaprio for like the Patrick Bateman role.
Yeah.
They didn't want Christian Bale because they didn't think he was like famous enough, because he definitely he wasn't. But the director actually fought to keep Christian Bale in the movie, and I think it turned out well, because he is so creepy in that movie, and it's just
he did a good job on that.
Like the whole the fucking like the business card scene where they keep showing the business card. That's so creepy. Okay.
Yeah.
8.
Okay. The Hills Have Eyes. The
Damn.
first one.
Another remake.
Another remake. Okay, the first remake.
Right.
Yes.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
I watched that with my brothers and sisters who are 7 and 8, and we watched it recently. That's a really good one,
Yeah,
dude.
growing up, that one really fucked me up too. Most of these are just movies that fuck me up.
Yeah.
That fucked me up.
That's fine.
And like, damn. That movie, like, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it when it came out, I don't remember what year it came out. I think it was like 2002, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But anyways, I was really young, and it actually kind of like made me it kind of made me scared of like some special needs kids at school, because I just didn't fucking know. I was like, yo, dude, these people are gonna like, kill
That's
me
true. I remember.
No offense.
I must have been
Sorry.
I think I was in 4th grade. No, it's okay. If you look weird, you're from Hills Have Eyes. You look like an inbred person. Stop looking weird. I do remember that there's one part in that movie that cracks me up every time. It's when the guy is going through that nuclear, that town.
Yeah.
And there's like a weird looking child that has like something wrong. And it's like,
yeah.
will you play with me? That's so funny though. Because she's so ugly. But yeah, that movie is really fucked up.
Yeah. But if I was to go back and watch that shit, I'd probably laugh.
Yeah. You should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in like probably.
It has like really good like action parts for a horror movie. It's really good. And the dude that plays Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs is the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Put the lotion in the basket. My 8 is The Thing from 1982.
That's a good one.
From John Carpenter. Those effects in that movie are so sick. They're like literally all practical effects.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And that's not even what makes the movie. The movie is like all paranoia, because like if you know anything about the movie, it's like there's like an alien little specimen and it like takes over anything and it can replicate it. So no one knows who's an alien, who's not, who's been infected, who hasn't, until it's like too late. And it's like takes place in like the Arctic.
Yeah.
It's super good.
It's a really scary movie.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, so what is this, number 7?
7.
All right.
My 7?
Yeah.
The Shining.
Damn.
Yeah. Which usually for a lot of people would be like up in their top 3 probably.
Yeah, but this isn't the greatest movie.
Yeah.
This is your favorite.
Like, The Shining, I went back into it later in life. Like, I didn't see it when I was really young.
Yeah.
But I still, I loved it. I love Stanley Kubrick. Like, a lot of people, you either love or hate that film.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk mad shit about it if I, say, oh, it's in my top 10 or whatever. But I feel like it has to be on my top 10 just because it boosted my love for, horror.
It does, and it's funny because Stephen King hated that movie at the time.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy to think that, and it's even crazy to think that that's a Stephen King adaptation, because that movie almost seems bigger than the book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that they've tried doing a TV series back in the 90s for The Shining, and it was fucking awful. And I know that Stephen King wrote a sequel to the book, but I think it has to do with with Danny the kid. But yeah, that's a great movie. There's so many weird parts of that movie, because like you said, when you're little, you definitely don't realize how weird that movie is until you grow up. And I think that there's a really weird part. I don't know if you remember. There's a part where Jack is walking down the hall, and there's a dude in a bear costume, and he's blowing this old guy in a suit. It makes no sense.
It's Stephen King, man.
Right.
It's like,
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
Stephen King.
yeah, he's pretty
All right.
fucked up.
So my my fifth and my seventh, I had to keep flip-flopping, but I think that I got this right. So my seventh favorite, not best, it's not the best of all time, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974.
Yeah.
That might have been the only movie that my mom wouldn't let me see. She literally let me see anything I wanted, but she told me that I can never watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre until I was like 13, like a bar mitzvah or something. Like, I'm not a man if I haven't watched this.
Yeah.
But I remember that my neighbor's mom rented the movie for us, and we watched it when my mom wasn't home, and it didn't like freak me out, but it was just a great movie because that if you've ever seen how low budget that film is, it almost looks like a documentary. Like, it was filmed with like a Super 8 camera. It's so creepy, and it's so good. And I mean, yeah, like the sequels kind of sucked, but I will say that the remake with Jessica Biel is not that bad, but everything else sucks. I think they're making a new one. I think a new one's coming out this year, but it's coming like straight to video. Like, it's gonna be like on demand. Like, that's how bad that series has gone. But whatever.
I do appreciate it though.
All right, so number 6.
My number 6 is Signs. M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, that movie, when I was a kid, me and my friend across the street, my neighbor, we watched that at his house because his dad had the DVD or whatever. We popped it in one day when we were going to watch a movie. We didn't know what it was. We were like Home Alone or whatever. And we just put that shit in. I'm telling you, we watched that shit, dude. And we took tinfoil out of the fucking kitchen cupboard, put that shit on our heads, and we were just chilling on the couch.
For the goddamn...
His parents came home, and they were like, what the fuck are you doing?
You guys look like Hershey Kisses.
Yeah. And that movie just like...
Yeah, I like that movie because it's like, I'm not comparing Signs to Jaws or anything, but I think that it's good when you don't see the creature until the end. Yeah. You know, so like all you see is like the fingers, or you see half a body, or like the "Vámonos, children! Vámonos! Vámonos, children!" Like, that's really, really cool. The only gripe I have about that movie is that their weakness is water, but let's go to a planet that's over 70% water. Like, what could go wrong?
Seriously.
All right, so that was your 6.
That's my 6.
My sixth is 1992's Candyman.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that movie until, man, I must have been in like middle school. I watched it like one time on like Encore or Stars or Cinemax or something, and oh my god, that is such a good movie because if you want to talk about scores, that score in that movie is so like hauntingly disturbing because it's so happy. And Tony Todd, the guy that plays the Candyman, he's like this big black dude, and he just has like this really, really low voice, and he has like a fucking hook, and it's like set in like urban Chicago, I think, and it's just like, it's such a good premise, and it's so like well executed. And it's funny because I don't think a lot of people know this, but Clive Barker, it's based off of a Clive Barker book. Clive Barker is the guy that created Hellraiser, like the Pinhead and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's a really good movie. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. Number 5.
Number 5, The Mist.
The one with, was it Thomas Jane?
I think so. The one with the really fucked up ending?
Yeah. That's not even in the book.
Yeah. The one with the really fucked up ending.
Yeah.
That fucked me up again as a kid.
That's a good one.
That ending is probably one of the worst endings that I've ever seen in film, not just horror. But in film.
And when you say
not worst as in like
worst,
a terrible ending, but worst as in like holy fuck.
Like what would you
this
do?
This is terrible. Like, this is like literally like
there's no.
I was reading blogs about that shit for like trying to like explain it to myself for like a week.
There's like no, you can't even put there's no like silver lining to that ending.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember watching that and then reading that it's not in the book. That ending is not in the book. But Stephen King liked the ending so much, he was like, "Yeah, guys, just go for it." Which obviously it's based off another Stephen King story, but yeah, that ending is amazing.
It's really fucking good. Like, good.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what's your 5?
My 5. I don't know if you could call this a horror movie. I'm calling it a horror movie. If not, you're an idiot. It's definitely a horror movie. It's Alien.
Oh hell yeah.
1979.
Hell yeah, that almost made mine.
It's not on there?
Nope.
Damn. Alien.
I was trying to squeeze it in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alien is so good. So you could say Alien is a horror movie and Aliens is an action movie. You could say that.
Yeah.
Alien.
It's horror.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, 1979, Ridley Scott, like, in his prime making movies, he wasn't making The Counselor, which is an awful movie with Cameron Diaz, or something else. But it's such a, if you just talk about the creature design in that movie, like if you want to talk about horrifying or disturbing or fucked you up as a kid, that's definitely one. I remember, I don't know if you ever used to go to MGM Studios, which is now called Disney Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And they have a part in the Great Movie Ride, rest in peace, they just closed it, that has like the alien scene in it. And I remember the alien came down and it scared the shit out of me.
I don't remember that.
And it's just, what a cool design, because it has like no eyes. It's
Yeah.
like biomechanical looking.
Xenomorph. Yeah.
And it's like 7 foot tall. It's super creepy. It has like a mouth within the mouth. Mouth within mouth means scary.
Great design for an alien.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best aliens.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if not the best.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call Predator an alien. You
Yeah,
could.
he's an alien.
So he's second.
Yeah, so
though.
he's second.
He's second.
Yeah.
But Xenomorph won. What really sucks after Aliens is that it was just not that good of movies. You know, Ridley Scott started doing that weird God complex and like Prometheus, and then
Yeah.
what was that new one? Alien
Covenant. I haven't seen
Covenant.
it yet, but
You
yeah.
didn't see it?
No.
It was not. It was all right, but
Yeah.
the first one is amazing. Check it out.
Hands down.
4.
Okay. 4. It Follows. That's my number 4.
Okay.
Newer movie. Probably the newest movie on my list, I think. Yeah, the newest movie on my list. As in terms of when it came out,
Right.
obviously. But I don't know, I just really like that fucking movie. What the hell is
It was my
But
wallet.
anyways,
It has so much money in
following
it.
us, man. It's following us. But anyways, yeah, that movie. That's another love it or hate it one. Again, the soundtrack is amazing,
Yeah.
and I think a soundtrack can make or break a film, especially a horror film.
For sure.
And that movie was just, I loved it.
I think
I like
that-
the concept of it a lot.
Yeah, it's so good because like, what would you do?
Yeah, it's like what the fuck. And It's
Yeah.
like you have to make sure like the next person is like, you know, I don't want to spoil anything because it's a movie,
But it's a really
it's
high
good.
concept.
Really
it's
good.
really cool.
Listen to the soundtrack, watch the movie. It's on Netflix. I'm pretty.
You could even just listen to the soundtrack by itself. You could
Yeah.
just chill and turn on that soundtrack. It's so good.
Yeah, very ambiance.
But what I like about it is like you said it perfectly. It's like hit or miss with people. It's like either people like really really love it and get the movie, or people are just like it's so slow and boring.
Yeah.
You know, like not every horror movie is going to be jump scares, and not every
Yeah.
horror movie is going to, you know, be gory. Like that movie successfully, it's not like it's a slow burn. I would definitely say it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
So my cuatro, which is 4 in Spanish, is Green Room, 2015.
Okay. There you go.
It was number 3, but something better came along.
Yeah.
But Green Room, it's like you said, it's one of the newer movies. It's not the newest movie on my list, but it's one of the newer ones, and it's about a punk band that goes to a skinhead music venue to perform, and you know they witness something, and the skinheads don't let them leave.
Yeah.
And what's really sick is that the head's like the leader skinhead is Patrick Stewart,
Yes.
Professor X,
Very good.
Picard from Star Trek, and he's so good in it.
So good.
And it's actually one of the only movies like I could stomach any gore. I don't care any but stuff like that. But that movie gave me so much anxiety the first time I watched it. It made because it puts you in a situation. It's like, what would you do? Like, holy shit, this is so real.
Yeah.
You know, and skinheads are scary on their own.
Hell yeah.
Just Nazis in general are really scary to most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good, and it's really well directed from Jeremy Saulnier. I believe it's a French last name. I don't think he's French though. But yeah, it's really good. It has what's that dude's name from Star Trek? Was it Anton Yelchin?
Yeah,
Yelich?
he died.
Yelchin. Yeah, he died.
Rest in peace, bro.
I think that's one of his last movies, but he is so good in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So what was that, 4? All right, 3.
My number 3 was The Green Room.
Really?
I swear to God. It's my number 3.
Well, check this out. If I wouldn't have changed it to something else, it would have been both put in number 3.
Yeah, it would have been sick. But yeah, that's my number 3. Basically, Joey said it best. Everything. It's an amazing movie. Go watch it.
It is.
It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
Is it? I
That's where
actually
watched it.
found I watched it on demand. Like I had to pay for it. It was so worth it. But I was actually in Best Buy like a month ago, and I saw it for $10 on Blu-ray, and I was like, I don't like to buy movies anymore. Like I don't understand it, but I was like, I have to get Like, when am I ever going to see this
Yeah.
physical copy of this movie?
Super good movie. Definitely watch it. Hell yeah.
I lent it to my girlfriend's brother, and he hasn't given it back, but it's cool.
All right, so you're number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of people might disagree with this, but I don't really care. It's 2017's It.
Okay. Yeah.
It, I saw, like, all right, let me give you a background of this movie. The, what's the 1990 series, miniseries, is trash. If anyone tells you, oh, I don't want something ruining it, that movie is, that miniseries is so bad. The only good thing about that is Tim Curry as Pennywise. Everything else really sucks. John Ritter's in it, rest in peace, Three's Company. Yeah. But other than that, it's so bad, and it's like 3 hours and something. It's like, oh my god, I don't want to watch this, and it turns into a fucking spider, like, and it's just it's not very good. But 2017's It, I was so excited to see, and I remember the weekend it came out was Hurricane Irma.
Yeah.
So all movie theaters were closed for like a whole nother week. So I had to wait a whole week to see this movie, and once I saw it, the next week I took my girlfriend to go see it. And then 2 weeks after that, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, visiting my father, and I made everyone in my family over there watch it. It is so good. And not only is it good, like, oh, it's scary, like, ooh, there you go, ooh, jump scare. It's just a great movie, and what's his name, Bill Skarsgård is such a freak as Pennywise.
Freak.
I mean, like, if you've watched the movie, you notice that, like, his eyes are, like, he has, like, a lazy eye, which makes the character so much creepier.
Yeah.
And, it's Connor. Whoa. We're in Steven's house.
Family ambiance.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
great.
guys.
They're Canadian.
Yeah.
This happens all the time.
Lots of animals.
But I think that the best way to describe 2017's It would be if Stranger Things met The Goonies met like a rated R horror movie. Like this whole movie was like make it or break it on these children to like be good actors and have good chemistry, and they nailed it. Like if these were like a bunch of kids that like just sucked, you'd be like, oh well, why do I give a shit about any of it, you know? So yeah, that's my third. I definitely think it's one of the best Stephen King adaptations with, you know, like you said, The Shining.
I agree.
Shawshank Redemption, Carrie, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. But all right, so Dose, number 2.
My number 2. You're probably not gonna agree with this one. I don't know, but I love this fucking movie when I saw it. It's The Conjuring, the first one.
I'm gonna be real with you. I've never seen The Conjuring.
No way.
I've never seen any of them.
The second one is whatever. There's like a really good scene in it.
Is it the tall guy, the skinny guy? Is that the best scene in the second one?
The best scene in the second one, in my opinion.
You know what I'm talking about though? That weird.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it. But it's basically like, Vera Farmiga's character in the movie. She's like in her house in a room, and like her husband paints. So he painted this character,
right?
And it's like on the wall, and like basically like comes to life. It's like really.
I think I've seen that, and then like the wall breaks and shit like that. Yeah. Whatever. If you haven't seen it, go fuck yourself. Yeah. But yeah, that's Steven's dad. We call him Big Hog.
Hold on. Yep.
It's dinner time around
Canadians,
here.
Man.
But yeah, I've never seen any of the Conjuring movies, but I know that I've heard really good things about the first one. But I also know that they're making like so many different like spin-offs. Like, isn't Annabelle?
Yeah,
Annabelle's it's a spin-off.
I don't fuck with that shit.
But so is did you know they're doing like what is it, like The Nun?
Really?
Yeah, and Via Farmiga's little sister is gonna play the young nun.
No way.
Yeah. And then they're doing, what's the guy's name from the from the second one? He's like a big, long, scare. Remember him? Like the music box.
Shit.
What do they call it? Not the Slender Man.
I know what you're talking about, man.
The Crooked Man. The Crooked Man. They're making a Crooked Man movie.
No way.
Yeah, like that's so
Why,
weird.
Though?
I don't know.
I mean, it'll be cool, but they're just trying to capitalize on it.
That's the only thing I've seen from that movie.
Yeah, the first one is definitely. That's my number 2.
I still have to watch it, but
yeah.
I think it's James Wan directed that, who's directing Aquaman, and he directed, I think, the first Saw, and then he also directed Dead Silence.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So my second one is A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Wes Craven, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man.
Johnny Depp's first role.
Yep.
Sequels are awful. It's funny. I literally just watched this movie in the movie theater 2 days ago with a couple friends, and it doesn't hold up as well as I thought it would because I haven't seen it in a bunch of years, but it was still like an enjoyable movie to watch in the movie theater. Just the acting is not the greatest. Even Johnny Depp, who used to be one of the best actors in the world, I don't know if you would call him that now, but even his acting in that movie is so wooden. He's like Hayden Christensen in Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
But
Nice.
in the movie, I swear to God, we were sitting there, and there's a guy there 2 rows behind me. There was a couple literally having a conversation during the movie, and the guy in front of them stood up, took his flashlight, turned from his phone, turned it on, pointed to them, and said, "I can hear your whole conversation. Shut the fuck up." He literally said that and sat back down.
Damn.
Yeah.
Savage.
But that was definitely an experience. But yeah, I mean, Freddy Krueger, he's one of the best villains in the world.
Hell yeah.
So that's my 2. Okay. So first, this is your favorite. This is your favorite horror movie.
This one is, I don't know, man. This is my favorite, but it's my favorite because I favor clearly movies that just fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like like
is it
whatever
Human
it is.
Centipede?
It's not Human Centipede.
Is it Human Centipede 2?
No.
Is it Human Centipede 3, the full sequence?
No.
Okay.
This movie just came out. It's a Netflix original. I don't know if you know about it. It just came out. It's a Stephen King adaptation, and it fucked me up.
There's 2 Stephen King adaptations now. Is it 1922 or is it
Nope.
what is it?
No way.
What's it called?
It's called Gerald's Game.
Is that a movie or is it a TV series?
It's a movie.
Who's in it?
Fuck. I don't know.
They're not that famous.
They're famous. I'm not really good with fucking actor names. They're kind of like
It's good though.
But dude, I've never had a movie give me so much anxiety where I had to just stop it.
Is it supernatural or is it?
It's not supernatural.
Okay.
It's just so fucked up. Basically, the gist of it is this older couple, they go on a vacation or whatever to a lake house where there's nobody else there. And basically, they're trying to spice up their relationship, sexually and whatever.
Hey,
and basically, they try something new. So he wants to try something. So he handcuffs her to the bed.
Mm.
And she starts saying, I don't fucking like this. I don't like this at all.
But she liked it.
And he was like, you know what? I don't care if you don't like it. This is what's going to happen.
Right.
And she's, arguing to go back and forth because they kind of have, an unhealthy relationship, whatever.
Right.
Dude has a fucking heart attack and dies right there. She's stuck to the bed.
Spoiler alert.
That's the movie. That's the movie. There's a synopsis.
Oh, wait,
it's
there's
not really
more?
spoiler alert, but
Okay.
there's a shit ton that happens in the beginning of the movie. So, and it's in the fucking.
I think Steve would just wait. That's in the description.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, never mind. That's Netflix's fault. All right.
But
So.
anyways, yeah.
That's
my
crazy.
number one, dude.
Literally just came out.
A month ago, maybe. I was not expecting it at all. I went into that thinking, oh, it's just gonna be a fun movie like it was.
Yeah.
I just saw it in the theater or whatever. It's gonna be a cool little movie. It's not gonna scare me. But I was like, dude, I had to pause it probably 10 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it scares you, or you're just
It's just oh my god, I can't handle it. I can't handle
Wow.
how fucking psychologically fucked up it is.
Okay. So I gotta check that out. All right. So so this is no surprise. My number one, it's Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter. Probably my favorite. Well, obviously it's my favorite horror movie of all time. I watched it recently. It does hold up. It's a movie from the 70s and it holds up. It's so creepy. It has the best horror movie villain ever.
Yeah.
Way better than, I love Freddy, but he's obviously second.
Yeah.
Jason's not even on there for me. Leatherface,
Yeah.
fucking Jigsaw, anybody. Michael Myers is the king.
He's the king of horror. Hell yeah.
I mean, and you can say whatever you want to say about the sequels. The second Halloween 2 was really good. Halloween 3 doesn't even have Michael Myers. It's not even about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And the rest, they try to add cult things, and there were remakes. Rob Zombie made a remake, which was all right.
It was all right.
But I think that he tried to over-explain an entity. When you think about it, Michael Myers is he's not even called Michael Myers in the movie. He's called The Shape. If you look in the credits, he's just a shape. Remember they shoot him a bunch. Fuck. Spoiler alert. They shoot him a bunch of times, and he goes to look and he's not there anymore. He's like evil incarnate, and that movie is so good. Jamie Lee Curtis. And it's crazy because they're making a sequel, and written by Danny McBride from Eastbound and Down.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's gonna ignore, I think, every movie but Halloween 1 and Halloween 2.
Sick.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. So Halloween, the original 1978, my favorite movie. Did you have it, like, I totally forgot to say this. Did you have any, like, honorable mentions? Like, oh, almost made it, or not?
Well, I was gonna put obviously I was gonna put like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween.
Right.
But I didn't want to because I thought I wanted to like
Right.
because those movies didn't really fuck me up.
Right.
You know, I enjoyed them. They're definitely like top 10. If I was to give like a top 10 best movies of all time, best horror movies, not top 10 favorite or whatever, I'd put it on there. But
that pussy.
Spooky ass little mansion we live in, dude.
So spooky.
But anyways, yeah. Honorable mentions. So I'd say Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, so this is so ass backwards. I should have said this before, but the movies that just made the cut, I mean like barely. There's a movie on Netflix called Snowtown.
Never seen it.
You should watch it, Steven, and anyone else should watch it. It's about like a town in Australia, and these guys. This is based on a true story. These guys were killing pedophiles or who they thought were pedophiles and mentally retarded people. And the whole movie, the score is like. It's super weird. It just makes you feel uncomfortable. Like this movie really made me sit. Like it made me like think after. I was like, this is fucked up. Like just the killing scenes. There's no music in them. It's like real. You know, it's like real killings. Yeah. Well, they didn't really kill people, but it just looks like that's
the real killings caught on camera.
It's not a snuff film, but
no.
It just looks like if you were to kill someone, that's literally how you would do it. It's so fucked up, and there's like no famous people in it, so it's just like it just seems real. So that's my honorable mention, and another honorable mention would be Videodrome from David Cronenberg. It's 1980 something, but it has fucking what's the dude's name from Family Guy? They always make fun of James Woods. James Woods is in it, and it's Debbie Harry from Blondie is in it, the band, and it's just like a crazy movie. But yeah, like that's it. This is our first episode. Deal with it. Bye.
See ya.